One Wellness Week live.
That guy,
Magnus, me,
Anthony.
PhD. I'm just a DJ. Okay. And don't forget, hey, everybody, before I forget, hey, subscribe and like. Tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your family. High tech editing here, folks. And, anyways, awesome show today. We're going to talk about two topics, and that is number one. Is there such thing as a chemical imbalance? You hear that a lot. People throw that around very, lackadaisically. Hey, chemical imbalance. Okay, chemical imbalance. You got a chemical imbalance. They take the pill. Chemical imbalance and chemical imbalance. And second topic, we need to listen, or should we listen to our doctors? Okay, so those are two topics today. Magnus, how are you?
I'm good. We
right.
just talked off air that been going through a little bit of a struggle. We take so much things for granted. Today we were not having that. We had a water leakage in our basically in our neighborhood, like a major water pipe burst. So I didn't have any water until about an hour ago. So,
Yeah,
but
man.
it comes down to this. It actually shows you, like, first of all, how fragile like society could be, but it also shows you like we should be happy for the things that we have.
Listen,
And we're so extremely spoiled.
Oh.
And we should thank engineers, everything that things are freaking working.
Magnus, you already said it. America, if we lose Netflix for 2 minutes, there'll be riots in the streets. I mean, we are, generally speaking, so entitled as a country and a culture. And, we had up by me here in New Jersey, there was a particular town, okay? It's a 1 square mile town. And they had a reported E. coli detection. Well, there was not even that. It was a detection in in the tap water, in the water lines of this particular town. A detection. There was no reported cases of death, no reported cases of massive sickness. It was just, there was, microscopic testing that microscopically picked up something in the line somewhere in the town. Well, dude, it might have as well been the end of the earth, because in this 1 square mile town, people were going crazy, raiding the shelves of these stores for bottled water, and everyone's like, I can't find bottled water anywhere. And the funny thing was, it's like, dude, if you go to the next town, which is 30 seconds away, that supermarket has a ton of bottled water. But you couldn't even talk. We are so, it's almost like people want to have some people almost passive aggressively, subconsciously want to have calamity, because it's like, hello, dude. Yeah. The bottled water is 1 block west. You can pick it up. It's okay. People posting photos. It's like, first off, and if you drank water that had a smidgen of E. coli in it, the odds are, wait for it, you ain't going to die. Overwhelming odds, 99.99999%, you ain't dying, and 99.999%, you're not even going to get sick. I understand. There's somebody in Oklahoma that died from E. coli in 1924. I get it. But, nobody knows context. It's just, they hear there's E. coli in the water, and everybody thinks like there's like shit is coming out of the faucet. It's just insanity.
No, but it's the same thing. Like, E. coli is not a big issue when it comes down to it. You just boil the water and you're good. If you're gonna drink it, like, if most of the things that we cook, it actually heats up and boils, right? So it's not really. I mean, you can get by it fairly easy.
By the way, you just mentioned it. Boil your water. Whoop-de-friggin' do. People were acting like that didn't exist. Like there was no. It's just, so to your point, we are like, every single day we are minutes away from people just losing it, and we're so coddled and protected, and it shows you how good we have in the United States, anyways. Okay, so let's not go.
Just remember another thing, like the toilet paper shortage,
right? Which was funny.
I'm like, what? So you're stocking up on toilet paper, but you're not buying food?
Well, no, but this is right. Well, I said to somebody during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
COVID. I said, wait, excuse me. Well, there's a rate on toilet paper across the country. I thought COVID was a lung disease, not an ass disease. Like, what? Why is there a rate on? You would think, okay, maybe tissue to blow your nose, mucus, get it out. Like, what does toilet paper have to do anything with COVID? Nothing. It's scary how just crazy we almost want it. We almost want to have manufactured calamity. I mean, case in point, the toilet paper. What? Like, we just want to have problems, like we just make them. So anyways, all right.
I mean, it's the same thing. If you have running water there too, I mean, you at least can solve that issue. But no, it's just fun. No, it's interesting. It is also interesting how, because it's group psychology, because someone sees someone and then it just snowballs and everybody goes crazy. Yeah. Anyhow, our rant is over regarding that. Let's move forward.
Right. So, okay, first topic. So you hear this a lot about chemical imbalance. So, I was like, I don't know. And by the way, folks, we're not doctors. Always check with your healthcare professional. We're just two friends having a conversation. And this goes to the point where always question your doctor, question your nurse, question. When people say, oh, chemical imbalance, we want to put you on this medication. Okay. So I just did some tertiary kind of real quick, research. And again, I'm a doctor, but I mean, I'm going to cite the source too. Okay. So it's the anxietycenters.com. It says, if you type in Google search, is there such thing as chemical imbalance? It says, in fact, no experiment has ever shown that anyone has an imbalance of any neurotransmitters or any other brain chemicals, period. It's a theory. It's not a fact. Yeah. And this is, again, don't believe me. We're just talking. Question your doctors. Question everyone. Just question. It can't hurt to ask questions. So my thing is, right, when someone says there's an imbalance, what would be balance? Like, is there, how do we know? Like, is there a set standard? It's not like saying a gallon of water, right? We know a gallon contains X amount of water or fluid because it's measurable. It is a gallon. It's a fact. But we don't know if you're chemically imbalanced versus what? What's the standard? Me? You? Who? Like, what is normal for me might be abnormal for you. So there's no set standard to say, well, you need 5 cc's of melatonin versus who says who, what, where, like, what's the standard? So this chemical imbalance, it's funny because a lot of these studies are done and funded by, you guessed it, Big Pharma. So of course you're going to have an imbalance. And I'm not saying that medicine can't help you, but imbalance, I talked about, this, I had anxiety attacks and panic attacks many, many months ago. Long story short, I put me in the hospital, had to go to the doctor. But, people were telling me, this is kudos to the doctors. None of them said, Anthony, you should be on any kind of medication. But I had friends and colleagues say, hey, you should maybe think about going on the pill for this, a pill for that, the balance of this, hormone imbalance, this balance, and neurotransmitter. I'm like, hold on. Let me look at my diet. Let me look at my lifestyle. Am I getting enough sleep? Am I managing my stress? Sure enough, the ACE cards were, 5 cups of coffee and dark chocolate every day. Make it 6 cups because dark chocolate, I found out, is a little piece is equivalent to a cup of coffee. I didn't know this stuff. I got off of the coffee and the dark chocolate. Magically, I don't have the panic and anxiety because I was just being rigged up by all this caffeine. Now, if I would have taken the advice of maybe some colleagues and friends, okay, I go on this medication because I'm imbalanced. I'm not imbalanced. I'm looking at my life, and it was serious. It wasn't a joke. But, and again, I'm not against medicine. If you have to, you have to. But hold on. Let me just check. Let me see my lifestyle. Let me check. Am I getting right nutrition? Am I getting enough magnesium? Am I getting enough, vegetables? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough water? I drink 6 cups of coffee a day. Maybe that could be a problem. Duh, it is. Yeah. So I think this chemical imbalance thing, we throw it around way too loosely. I mean, oh yeah, you got this depression or manic this or bipolar that. Hold on, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Question. Put it to your doctors. They owe you an explanation. They work for you, the doctors. You own the doctors. They work for you, the patient. Ask questions, challenge them, get second opinions. Magnus, what say you?
So, one of the most interesting part about this, so we're talking a lot about neurotransmitters, so which are actually chemicals that can cross the blood-brain barrier and go into our brain, and some of them are actually created in the brain too. But it comes down to this: the majority of a lot of these compounds are actually created in your gut. So, and this is kind of crazy that however your gut health is can actually definitely, yes, affect how your brain functions. And that is, I mean, for me, it's like maybe it's not an issue like with your brain or anything like that, or imbalance. It's just that you have a poor diet health, or like your gut health is shut, and that's why your body is not producing enough, like maybe the level that you need, right? So because it has been proven that when you actually add these, like certain of these neurotransmitters, that you get an effect, but they haven't proved it that it's actually connected to, like you're saying, that a chemical imbalance.
Right. Right.
And
Right. I mean, you're taking a drug, and people would. This is the retort they would say to you, Magnus, or whoever, me. Well, Anthony, all I know is I took this drug and I feel happier. I took this drug, I fall asleep better. I took this drug and I'm not as stressed. No doubt. But that doesn't mean you were in balance. I could take any drug and feel
yeah,
any way I want. That doesn't, but my point is look at your lifestyle. Again, are
yes,
you getting proper sleep? Like 8 hours a day. Oh, I don't got time for it. But are you getting it? No, you're not. Are you eating vegetables every day?
yeah,
Are you staying away from fried foods? Are you drinking alcohol every day? Are you drinking soda and sweet drinks? These are all the things that are going to make an imbalance in you and
for
ruin your
sure.
homeostasis. But again, let's not talk about that. Just take a pill, 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 pill. My thing is, I'm all for pills, but first look at how you're living first. I mean, and then
But
if it
that's
doesn't work,
but Anthony, so many of our conversations about that, like unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't want to take that responsibility.
or put the
They
effort
just
up.
want to continue doing what they're doing, and taking a pill will make it so much easier for them than actually making a change. But if you really want to deal with the source of this problem, and not just using like drug as a band-aid, and that's usually what happens. Sooner or later the drug will not be as effective as it once was, right? Because your body gets used to it. Maybe you're even having too high levels of certain things, so on and so forth. But we need to start thinking a little bit more that yes, we have to do sacrifices for the bigger picture, that we actually are feeling better by reducing certain things. I mean, again, we don't have to cut out, like say that like alcohol is a major problem. Well, again, you might have like drink alcohol once in a while, but like trying to skip that like everyday drinking, like it might be enough, as an example. But it's just that, like, again, and we get bombarded all the time from media. We're like always seeing like the new drugs that are coming out, the commercial about drugs, and like one thing that I want people to start listening a little bit more, listen to what they say, what the side effects are, and read into it. Don't just listen to this guy that talks so fast that you can't hear what he's basically saying. Actually sit down and read what it says.
Yeah,
That
100%.
that should scare a lot of people away from actually using those things,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I mean, again, so, most of the time I would say, do you really have a chemical imbalance? And how do you know that? And by the way, did they take blood tests prior, during, and post to
Yeah,
measure before, during, and after all of your levels of all
yeah,
the chemical? Like, they just go, yeah, yeah, take this. I go, you're good. I mean, what, so,
yeah. Well, another thing that we talked about this earlier too a little bit is like there might be a chemical imbalance that are not just in your head, that is actually in your body, like certain things, it is the same thing. It has a lot to do with lifestyle and diet again.
right.
uh, if we're like, again, drinking too much water will affect our pH levels, but we have to drink a lot of it. So that just shows that sometimes, like, even drinking a lot of water, like we're talking about gallons of water in a day, that could be dangerous too, because the pH levels
Right.
will get messed up. So that's a chemical imbalance. But again, it's something that you kind of, like, your lifestyle has a lot to do with it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, by the way, getting up and walking, that will actually help a lot of your quote unquote chemicals. When you walk, it releases endorphins. You become happier. That's a fact. That's a chemical fact. So I mean, like, anyways. So
and also like you said another thing, like resistance training, strength training. It has been proven to be one of the better things to actually do. Like basically more efficient than most chemical drugs for depression and many other things.
100%.
So that's another thing of looking at. I'm not sitting here and you go strength train everybody, but like the physical like activity and training usually has more, like a lot of people go and train just for the mental like health that they get out of it.
100%.
So that's why, I mean, that's why sounds like I'm not saying you go strength train to become super buff and things like that. No, like strength training actually helps with like mental health too.
100%.
And it's in certain countries it's prescribed exactly as a drug. Like go and train 30 minutes 3 times a week. And like there you go.
But you know what? 100%. And again, no one's saying don't talk to your doctor, but question your doctor, challenge your doctor, and have them
explain why they want to do certain things. What are their alternatives? And like, is there something I can do by changing lifestyle?
Get a second opinion. I mean, again, like, it's just, and no one's saying, you got to go around lifting weights like a crazy man, but even to get out and walk every day and get up and move. And these are things
up the stairs instead of taking the elevator,
they boost the mind. They boost the chemicals, again, the neurotransmitters, all those things. It does matter. And it plays an important part. Okay. So let's go on to the second topic, which we're talking about doctors.
Which is connected to this one.
Yeah. So, and, I like to quasi crap on doctors a lot, but I was thinking to myself, and this is true, right? I mean, doctors go through 4 years undergrad of usually biology, another 4 years of medical school. Then you got residencies and fellowships. You're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 years of training before they become a full-fledged doctor, And so it makes me laugh when, there's YouTube doctors out there, these people who they read an article and now all of a sudden they know about vaccines and stuff. It's like, wait a second, did you go to medical school? So, my thing is like, let's give our doctors and healthcare professionals props. Let's give them a chance. Let absolutely see them, talk to them, listen to them, but question them, ask them, doc, do I have to do this or can I do that? Or what do you think? Get a second opinion for sure. But you got people out there that are medicating themselves with like, oh, I'm going to eat this leaf. And, what? Like, medicines, there's a reason why billions are spent on pills and medicine because they work. They're necessary oftentimes, not every time maybe, but again, I think sometimes we're quick also to be like, doctors don't know. Like they went to 15 to 20 years of schooling and what, who are you? You know something? Like what? You read a book? Give me a break, buddy. Like, so I think we also need to give them a little bit more credence and listen to our doctors. If anything, get a second opinion. But, doctors know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, just like a mechanic or a chef or a lawyer or a pilot, that's what they do. Like they know their stuff. Again, question them, challenge them. But, you have, I'm not going to name names, but, a lot of famous people out there that passed away because they had certain cancers and they're like, oh, I'm going to chew on some celery and I'm going to treat my cancer. It didn't work out for them. They're taking a dirt nap. Like, you got to go see a doctor for certain things. No questions, and again, challenge the doctors.
Yeah.
You got a PhD in biochem, Magnus. What do you say to that about respecting our doctors?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like I read, like I've been in school and read a huge amount of chemistry. So I probably read more chemistry than most doctors have done. But that doesn't mean that I know how to do appendix surgery or anything like that. Like it's you have to understand what people specialize in and that's their job. I mean, yeah, you might not agree with them 100%. And also like you might have to talk to several doctors and talk to specialists and things like that. One of the main like things that I think that a lot of people should do, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like hiring a coach, like personal trainer or nutritionist or tennis coach or anything like that, try to find a doctor that you get a like you have good chemistry with, like you understand what they're saying, they're using a language that you understand, and they take time to explain and things like that. And if the doctor that you currently seeing, if you don't get that, if there are other options, maybe you should look around a little bit and trying to see, because I think that is so important, like relationship building. Because if, again, if a medical doctor knows you better, knows your situation, maybe knows, oh, okay, kids, divorced or whatever, like having a stressful job and all those things, they more than know about you. I mean, I'm not saying that you should spill like your whole life and your guts to them, but
No, I hear you.
having them like relate to you, or you can relate to the doctor and things like that. Maybe the doctor has kids themselves,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatnot,
100%.
or yeah, it makes it a little bit more personal and human, because you see that a lot of it, like nowadays, it's like you come in, the doctor is usually running late, they come in, they talk to you like 3 minutes, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not even talking to you, they're talking over your head with the nurse or something like that. And that is, you feel more like how should I say this, an object than a human being,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Well,
Which
but you know
is
what?
sad.
Yeah, I will tell you, because I'm a fan of going to doctors. I get my yearly checkup. I donate blood, all this stuff. Like I'm definitely not opposed to going to doctors. But I would say the younger crop of doctors coming out, I think are more empathetic, better listeners. That kind of like talking over your head and talking through you and kind of poo-pooing you. That's usually not all the time, but it's usually the older doctors.
Yeah,
Doctors maybe in their 60s and 70s and maybe 50s. Again, not all of them, but generally speaking, I think the younger doctors. I know my primary physician. She's probably I don't know, in her mid to late 30s. I mean, I'm not. She's not representing everybody, but I've had a few doctors in my life like that in their 30s and stuff like that. Just a pleasure. They took their time, and even doctors that in their late 40s I've had, like my urologist, and I'm fine, everybody, but my my urologist is great. I'm like, this guy's hanging out with me, man. It's like, so, cool. Like, and he's a younger guy, but again, I'm making a generalization, but I think the younger crop of doctors coming out are wise to that,
yeah.
and
No, I think they talk way more about that too, and also like with more experience and things like that they have an understanding that it all comes down to connection, right? That you can connect
right.
with, like, we're talking doctor patient and patient doctors, like
Right.
that they actually, and nurses of course too. And I like that. That's the thing. Another sad thing that we always think about doctors when it's actually the nurses that's doing most of the job.
By the way, shout out to the nurses.
Hands on. So yeah, they're the one that makes like actually a hospital work.
Yeah, the nurses are great that I've always dealt with, even in the private practice for a checkup. Very pleasant. Again, they get it. The newer crop that's coming out, generally speaking. And by the way, physicians assistants. It's funny here in New Jersey, a lot of the checkups and even ER visits are done by PAs, physicians assistants. More and more I'm seeing PAs operating, not operating like operating, but I'm saying like doing the checkups and doing even some ER stuff, and that's awesome. I mean, so anyways, big shout out to PAs and nurses and doctors. But okay, so right, it's important to listen to our doctors and give them a shot. And if you have a question, hey doc, I watched this on YouTube, what do you think about that? Like, challenge the doctor. They're there to answer your questions. Either they work for us, so we don't work for them. But anyways, all right.
So here's the thing. Like, I know that a lot of doctors do not like patients or that are doing research themselves, because they are asking some like hard questions. And one of the best answers you can get from a doctor that actually shows you that they're being honest is saying, I don't know.
Oh, I'll look into that. I'll get back
Yeah,
to you.
and I'll look it up, or I ask someone that, or I'll point you towards someone that knows
Right.
better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
saying that, like that gives me respect when someone outsources, or like, well, I'm no expert, and I'm like, that's what I do a lot. If I feel like I have a potential client that's out of my scope, I'm like, well, there's better people that you can talk to, and I can give you some
Right.
numbers or some names,
Yeah.
because like it's a win-win situation. I mean, like, they know that I take things seriously, and I'm trying to look out and give them the best that they can have, you know.
Yeah. Listen, if a doctor gets upset because you're asking questions or, politely challenging them in a polite, respectful way, if
Yeah,
a doctor gets upset because you have questions, that ain't the doctor for you. Get rid of that doctor. Like, go to somewhere else. I mean, yeah, you're having a conversation, you have a question. I read this, or I heard this, or I saw this. They owe it to you to answer those questions. And again, if they don't like it, then I'll take my business elsewhere, and that's cool. There's plenty
yeah,
of doctors, plenty of great doctors out there that are patient and will answer, or if they don't know, let me look into it, I'll get back to you, or whatever, And I've had that, whatever. Anyway, so okay, I'm done with my crap. Anything else before we wrap up? Because it's 110 degrees here in my studio.
that no. So since I didn't have any water, and you're running that heat, let's just thank for today. Thank you guys for listening again.
Yeah.
We want to hear more from you. Interact with us, like we said. Subscribe, ask questions, like, share to people that might find this interesting, helpful. Yeah.
So awesome. Yep. Oh, great. We got a bunch of great shows coming up. And Magnus, thank you as always. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. And we will see you next week. And we have some other shows we're going to pepper in here and there, some specials. But thanks, everybody. Have a good
Thank you,
rest of the
Anthony,
week.
for having me.